Camera is on.
Welcome to Nights at the Round Table, a round table discussion on speculative fiction books and film. Hi everybody and welcome to the next episode of Nights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the 1982 animated film The Secret of NIMH.
The background would be my daughter, gladly.
It just makes me smile. She's so chatty today. And I'd like to start... Oh, sorry, I'm sitting here with Caro and with Jen, and I'd like to start with general impressions of the film. Jen, since you didn't... Is this your first viewing of it?
Yes.
So we'll start with you then.
I went into it not really expecting much, and was like, oh hey, the beginning, it's got the girl focus, this is exciting, they're gonna switch to the guy focus anytime now. And then they didn't. And I was like, she is amazing! And she keeps being amazing! And this is so great!
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very excited about it. No.
This was one of my favorite cartoons, probably my favorite cartoon when I was a child. I watched it so much that like 20 years after having watched it for the last time, I still remembered most of the movie very accurately. And not only did it live up to my memory, but I even found a couple more things that I loved about it.
Yeah. So for me, The Secret of NIMH was a staple of mine growing up. It came out the year before I was born, so I've been watching it literally since I was born. And we had it on VHS, and it was a twin VHS for some reason. It was Secret of NIMH followed by Tron. So that would be our double billing for a lot of nights, and I really love this cartoon. I know a lot of it is nostalgia, because a lot of the stuff from the 80s that I like that nobody else does is nostalgia, but it is genuinely a wonderful cartoon. I really, really loved it. Yeah. And I quote it to this day. Like, for those people who have heard me run around going, oh, you have a sparkly? I've always wanted a sparkly. That's from this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I've been saying that, and I've never seen the movie, so I obviously picked it up from you.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Jeremy's a pretty cool character.
That was a thank you, not a sarcastic thank you.
Okay. Yeah, right? He was such a fun character. It was nice to have that comedic foil against everything else that was going on in the film.
Yeah, and he was the main male character.
Yeah.
And he's just like this buffoon that's kind of there for comic relief.
Yeah, and luckily, the main male character, there was actually no real love interest.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Between Jeremy, the two main characters, so between Jeremy and
I was gonna say, because that rat...
Justin, the leader of the rats, who
Yeah.
I was in love with when I was a
looking rat. I was like, wow, I would have been all over this character when I was a child.
And I was.
Me too.
Because my love interest as a child was Robin Hood.
Oh, yeah. See, mine mostly was Optimus Prime.
The Fox Robin Hood, of course.
Yeah, me too. But that stemmed from my original interest in Justin.
Leader of the rats.
Leader of the rats.
Or he's captain of the rats.
Yeah.
Captain of the guard when you first meet him.
Yeah, he's very, and gentle.
Yeah,
and kind.
And doesn't take himself as seriously as everyone else, which is what I think I clued into when I first, my first cartoon crush. Because, he even says, we tend to take ourselves a little too seriously. And the first time you meet him, he's trying to prank, Mr. Ages.
Yeah. He's pretending to be one of the nutcrackers. On the side of the...
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, is he the one that was attacking them? And then,
No, as it turns out, he's a goofy but loyal,
adorable
rat. Yeah.
And so these are the main male characters in the movie, but I liked
Mr.
it.
Aegis.
And Mr. Aegis was kind of Nicodemus as well. But the main character, which I never really thought about before I rewatched it last night, is a recently widowed single mother of 4?
Yeah.
Like, when does that ever happen?
Seriously.
And that's part of what makes this movie so amazingly wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, and all throughout the film, it's following Mrs. Brisby and her incredible acts of courage that she undertakes in order to save her family. Like, it's one of those really awesome storylines that you don't really get anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss those stories. It's
Her
not
kids
about...
were pretty awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know Will Wheaton was the voice actor for the little boy?
I
Which
did
little
not
boy?
know
The one that wasn't sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was Will Wheaton?
Yeah.
Oh, Will Wheaton!
I didn't realize until I saw the credits, and then I was like, and yet another reason to like Will Wheaton.
I didn't pay attention to the credits, so... Good job, Will! I ain't afraid of no... I ain't afraid of no...
Oh, the
I ain't even
shrew
afraid of
bothered
dragons. Oh!
me so much. I was like, oh, well, aptly
named.
or
The sh-
aptly characterized. I
well,
guess.
yeah. The shrew who was actually a shrew.
Yeah.
But then, like, how many people have, like, aunts or neighbors that are exactly like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she also kept coming back to the children. Like,
Yeah.
she said she wasn't going to come back. She did. She
Yeah.
looked after them.
Yeah, she
Like,
actually cared.
She also was super impressive with the destroying of the machine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
she
Of the clouds.
put her life on the line there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was...
So she might be someone who's, like, off-putting and very full of herself and very overbearing,
Yeah.
but she genuinely cares. And she's, you know, she's like this tiny little character, and she's so complex and layered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auntie Shrew actually reminds me a lot of my maternal grandmother. Who was also, like, she was very much about sit up straight and use your cutlery and elbows off the table. But she genuinely cared. Like, she was a genuinely wonderful person who would help you out in a pinch anytime. Yeah, so Auntie Shrew reminded me a bit of Grandma. Oh, it's such a good little story. It's based off a book.
Yeah.
I
Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a really, really wonderful book. Very well adapted.
Speaking of NIMH, I was not expecting... Like, I had no idea what it was.
Me
National
neither.
Institute
When
of
I was
Mental
a
Health?
kid, I thought it was just a made-up name. And when I found out that it actually stood for NIMH, which is a real organization, I was just like, what? And they do experiments to give rats superpowers?
See, I thought NIMH was like the locket thing, or the chain thing at first.
The sparkling.
Yeah.
The
I
sparkly.
totally thought it was that at first. And then it came out that it was the research place, and I was like, wait, it's an acronym?
Yeah.
Like, it's not an object?
Yeah.
It was very cool for me being my age, seeing this for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, growing up with this story, I think was one of the best things that could have happened for somebody. I haven't read the book. I really want to read the book.
Now that I know it exists,
They have it at the library.
of course they do.
Of course they do, so I have to take it out of the
Well, I shouldn't say of course they do, but good.
Good story that really teaches children about the awesomeness of mothers.
Yeah, right?
You know what? Like,
They
there
will
should-
go
they will
to
go
any
above and
lengths.
beyond and push way beyond any limits for their kids. And it's an important thing to know as a child, because it's very reassuring to know that your mom will do anything in her power to make sure you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some mums.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about the inclusion of the magical element?
It was a little bit weird watching it as an adult. I was like, well, where does that come from?
Yeah,
I
like,
was willing to accept the electricity and like the super smartness, and then all of a sudden there was magic, and I was like, okay, I guess super smartness also leads to magic.
When I was
Question
a
mark?
kid, I remember thinking that it was just completely logical that this institute had made them super powerful and also magic.
Yeah.
For me, it made perfect sense.
See, I wouldn't see the thing with the magic of Nicodemus is I could get that from like being so mentally elevated that you have telepathy or
Yeah.
elemental manipulation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the gem, I don't get the gem.
Yeah. Oh, and was Nicodemus and the Great Owl the same person? Because they were
No.
totally built the same way, with the mustache being the same length.
No, they were just
And the
they were just
the eyes were the same, and I was
Yeah.
just like, so are they related?
No, I think they're related like spiritually, as in they're old sages, and then
Yeah.
Do
You
they
know.
know each other?
Probably.
Of course
Well,
they
both
do.
came from
They're all
NIMH.
part of the secret society, right? Of old sages.
Oh yeah, there's a secret society. Not so secret anymore. Spoilers. Sorry guys. There's a secret society apparently. Yeah, I'm not sure about the inclusion of. Like as a kid, yeah, I mean this is clearly directed at kids, so it won't matter to them. I don't think, because it didn't matter to me. But watching it now, I'm like, okay, I can get Nicodemus's stuff. I don't get the gem.
I feel like it's the magical embodiment of courage.
Yeah. Yeah,
but-
me too.
But like,
But then again, as, you know, my wife always says when I'm starting to analyze
something
Paw
too much.
Patrol, it's meant for children.
Yeah, it is. It
You
is
know,
meant for children.
You have to suspend a lot more of your disbelief when you're dealing with something that is meant for children, because I guess children are willing to accept a lot more. I remember as a kid, I had no problem.
No, I had no issue.
whatsoever.
Nope.
So it's, you know, like, we put limits on the world and what we understand of it that are really artificial
Yeah.
and probably prevent us from realizing a lot of things. Yeah, I'm generally okay with this.
With the gem just being
Yeah,
like a
so-
magical.
I'm very okay with the gem being just magical and it just being, you know, magical thinking. And I'm very willing to forgive this because of the general awesomeness of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, same. But still, in the back of my head, the analytical part of my mind
Oh,
is
yeah.
going, but where did it come from? Why
Okay, fine, I'll admit it, I had the exact same thought last night and I actually said it to Joelle, like, but why is it magic? And she was like, you're making me watch this movie.
But, like, if you think about other science fiction, like The Chrysalids by
Wyndham.
Wyndham, thank you. I'm like, he's over there. By Wyndham, they develop telepathy or mental powers and that sort of thing. Each one is different. So, presumably, there would be one that could embody an object with
Oh, yeah, maybe.
some sort of
Or it was
power.
just always there and the rats found it when they went to the rose bush. Like, I don't know.
That's also
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And you know what? I think that I've seen authors include a lot of stuff in their stories and then explain it away. And sometimes I feel like the explanation sort of takes away
Yeah.
from that stuff. And I felt like, okay, this is a thing that, you know, if it was meant as a really gritty mystery for adults, would probably not have fit there. But does it really need to be explained?
No.
It
No.
also wasn't uselessly used.
No,
Yeah.
Needlessly
exactly.
used there.
And also, it gave rise to the line I use all the time.
Yes.
The sparkly!
Mrs. B! Mrs. B! I gotta have that sparkly!
She also, if you think about like humans, and there's research that say that babies give some of their genetic material to their mother,
Yeah.
and her babies are intelligent like Jonathan.
He is.
So maybe she got some of the genetic
But I
smartness.
also like the implication that, you know, it's not just through human intervention that animals can have a consciousness and then a real life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and that if we just pay attention to them, they can
Yeah.
be taught or whatever.
Well, look at elephants. Come on.
Yeah.
So smart.
There's also that orangutan in Borneo who saw people spearfishing and so picked up a stick and started trying to spearfish.
Yeah. That's cool.
That is cool. Yeah. So, so we got a comment from the Peanut Gallery about the stone.
I really want to know where it comes from!
Me too.
Threw me out of the movie.
I
I didn't even know.
would like to know. I would like to know as well, but I think it would have completely changed what this movie was about, and it would have taken away from the focus of the plot and the theme of the movie, which was really about, you know, this mother being pushed way past what anybody can be expected to cope with, and still coming through and still saving her children.
And I really liked that in order to do that, they didn't try and turn her into something that she wasn't. Like, she's still a mouse. She's
Yeah.
still sort of meek and shy and really gentle. And she's that all the way through. Like, these
Yep.
traumatic events didn't suddenly put her up for some
Nope.
reason. She was just, it's just that she's a brave little mouse. And I really liked that.
And I kind of liked the mystery in a sense that, like, there is a lot of mystery in that story because it's focused, you know, there's this one character who's ubiquitous throughout the movie, which is Jonathan, and it's her husband, and he's dead. And you know, there's all this stuff that she's discovering about his past, about him being at NIMH with the rats, his relationship with the rats, which she was completely unaware of.
How he died.
And how she didn't even know
that,
how he died.
Yeah. When she read that, I, as an adult, last night went...
I cried. And it was the first time I cried watching that movie because as an adult and a mother, I could see myself there. And going, like, how frustrating and how debilitating must it be to not even know what happened.
He just didn't come home.
Exactly. And finding out all this, I thought the stone was kind of just part of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we couldn't understand where it came from because she couldn't understand where it came from.
Because we were watching the movie from her eyes.
Yeah, pretty
that
much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know exactly where the rats went.
No.
Thorn Valley, but you don't know where Thorn Valley is.
Yeah.
Just that they went there. How did you feel about the villain? About Jenna?
He was very evil.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he had, like, a logical motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to stay put.
He didn't like change.
Yeah.
He was afraid.
How socially accurate.
Yeah, he didn't like change. He wanted his people to stay exactly where they were, but with him in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's scary how much
something that was written 35 years ago is very, very relevant right now.
Yeah.
Well, history repeats.
Yeah. I also liked that Jenna's sidekick, who's down with, look, no, we have to stay.
Yeah.
But he ended up having a moral center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't kill Nicodemus. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And also how much adult themes and how much darkness and really scary stuff were in that.
There were some very tense moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was dark. I remember I was terrified of Jenna when I was a kid, and I cried when I was a kid. I cried when Nicodemus was killed.
Me too. I remember being really scared when that happened. But most of it, like, the rest didn't really frighten me as a kid. Like, I remember when she first walks into the rats, like the rose bush and everything, and there's like the big penny and the, like, all that, and like that was like, oh my god, and like the figure stalking her. And everything. Like, that was scary, but the rest was like, I don't know. And I remember recommending this for one of my friends, and she showed it to her daughters, and daughters were terrified, and she was like, my god, this movie's super scary. And I was like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. I watched that movie when I was 5 and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then that was scary too. But you're also seeing the owl from the mouse perspective.
Yeah. So the owl is also the spider.
Oh my god!
Follows Mrs. Brisby when she goes to see the great owl.
Yeah. And then the great owl just squashes it, and you're like, holy crap! That really scary thing was just taken away by that huge scary thing.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to the animators of this movie.
This was so gorgeous.
Beautiful. The backgrounds are beautifully painted, and the movements of the characters are enough like their animals that it struck me this time around. The first time that I've really noticed the animation style.
Yeah.
But when Mrs. Brisby runs and swims, she looks like a mouse. Like,
yeah, she doesn't look like a
job.
human kind of made like a mouse.
Yeah.
This is a mouse.
Yeah. So they're humanized, but only to a certain point. Like, yeah, it was just beautifully done. Really gorgeously painted. I really loved the art style.
Yeah.
Well, I knew I would because my sister likes this movie and she is incredibly picky about her art.
Animation, yeah.
So I was like, well, that's going to be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Really gorgeously done. And the music was amazing too.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the... There goes the rat. I can't remember the name of the song that was used as a lullaby and also at the end credits. But I think that song won an Oscar.
I think it must have, because I remember it being really like something that I learned and sang.
Yeah, oh yeah, I
You
would
know,
sing
like,
it all the time.
The same level that An American Tale, the song in there too.
I don't remember the song in An American Tale.
Oh, somewhere out there.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember.
I
the
remember
name.
that one.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the one from
The Secret of
NIMH,
NIMH.
but
I kind of want to learn it because it's a lullaby.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great lullaby. Was there anything about the film that bothered you?
Other than the magic, apparently.
Other than the magical stone.
Not that that bothered me at all. I was like, cool, magic, awesome.
Yay, she saved the children!
Yeah, pretty much.
honestly, the only thing that bothered me, and this is with the eyes of an adult, is that they picked NIMH for that, the National Institute of Mental Health. Because it's kind of like, okay, well, this institute that's researching mental health, so obviously they're doing Frankenstein experiment that make you smarter and experimenting on animals, like,
Yeah, that seemed really weird to me.
yeah. So that's the only part that bothered me.
I assumed it wasn't a real place, but apparently it is.
Yeah.
So that's
It was weird.
that is a problem.
But apart from that, I really, really loved it.
Mm-hmm. I loved how oblivious the farmers were to what was going on in their rose
Yeah.
bush.
Yeah. Did you see the trucks the next day that were there to like dig it up too? I was like,
Just in time!
Just in time.
Wah wah.
hey, we both said it.
Justin, the leader of the Rats in Time. What age group would you say that this movie was for?
Like 7 to 11, maybe.
Yeah. Definitely not younger than that.
I mean, it depends on the child.
Yeah,
It does.
It
Like,
does.
my 5-year-old would not like this movie at all.
Mine
yeah?
would, I think, if she
I-
continues the way she is.
Wait. My kid was very, very, téméraire,
Fearless.
fearless at that age, and as he grows older, I notice things that,
Well, personality starts developing a bit more.
yeah, and yeah, I think like my youngest might be fine with it. My oldest, no. So it depends on the child. There are elements in it that are quite scary, and depending on how much your child is able to assimilate some of these really mature, like if they really don't understand things like death, my kid is starting to understand things like death, and that's really scary. So, watch first.
Yeah, it would be a watch first.
Well,
Yeah.
first, well, that's for pretty much everything, I find.
Yeah, but with cartoons, oftentimes you tend to assume that it's okay. But there are cartoons like this one that are really intended for a bit more of a mature audience.
Well, like How to Train Your Dragon, even. There's a lot of death in that.
I haven't seen it.
Oh. It's really good.
I'm sure it is. I know.
Yeah, I'm terrible at guessing age groups for things because my parents we had open access to their library,
Yeah.
which were a whole bunch of adult books in there. We watched like The Secret of NIMH since I was this big.
Same here.
Yeah, so I have no idea.
Whereas I
Don't
was
trust me to babysit your children is what I'm saying.
Whereas I was rather sheltered, so I was exposed to things a lot later than.
Yeah.
So my experience is like, oh, scary thing? Not until they're like 9 or 10, but
But at the same time, like if Coco picked it out and watched it, like we started watching Titan because he picked it up. I know, I loved it. He picked it up and he thought it looked cool because he was really into spaceships for a period of time. And then we put it on and I saw him watching with a big frown like this. And I kind of like asked him, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "This is scary." And I'm like, "Do you want to turn it off?" And he said yes. So sometimes I don't believe in sheltering my kids from anything, but I do believe in being there for them to deal with their emotions.
Yeah.
Like The Good Dinosaur is a super cute movie, super good for children too. But there is death in that movie as well, and there's a part where, sorry, spoilers for The Good Dinosaur. There's a part where the dinosaur
How dare you?
and the little boy are like with stick figures showing what happened to their family, and the little boy sort of puts the stick figures down to show that his family is dead, and that struck a chord with my son, and he sobbed for 5 minutes. He was inconsolable after that scene. And so it's very important that you're aware of the emotions it might provoke, and that you're there at 2 in the morning to pick them up after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, most of the time you're not going to put your child in front of a TV screen to watch whatever on their own anyways.
No,
so,
but you know, like you might think that because there's no immediate reaction, they're fine. But sometimes, you know,
they
so
have to
I
think
don't
about
think,
it a bit more.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a matter of age, but rather of like
Emotional maturity?
emotional maturity and external support.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Okay, so star ratings and final thoughts. Caro?
Definitely 4 stars for me. I love that movie, and I want more movies with like old ladies or moms or widows as the main character. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd give it 4 stars. For sure. I'm kind of sad I didn't watch it when I was younger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good, and it's going to find a place in our collection.
Yeah. In a surprise move, I'm going to give it the highest score today with 4.5 stars for the same reasons. I loved that this was a movie about a mum. I love that there wasn't really that sort of romantic subplot. I loved that all of the smaller characters each had their own sort of full characterization. Yeah, they weren't just cardboard cutouts of things. The music was great. The animation is gorgeous. And I do have this in my personal collection.
Me too.
So, yeah, it's forever going to have a home with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in short, watch this one.
Watch
this is
it.
one of the 80s ones that are actually genuinely good. Instead of just nostalgia good.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, if you have any thoughts about The Secret of NIMH, do leave them in the comments down below. We also have a Goodreads group, which I desperately need to update. So if you want to continue the discussion over there, you can. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Oh wait, we need to pull this one.
Sorry, I'm totally taking this.
Totally, I forgot about the next movie for some reason.
Snowpiercer.
Yes!
I know nothing about this.
Snowpiercer is...
Is that zombie Germans?
No.
Is that the
No.
movie or the TV show?
Snowpiercer, the film, 2013, starring Chris Evans. I've watched it. It's really good. It's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
I really like this movie.
I haven't seen
The
it.
one on the train?
The one on the train. So, yeah, Snowpiercer is the next movie. Now don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye, guys!
We can all pitch in a little. Yeah. We've recorded for a minute now, so carry on.